Yeah, Arsenal, the champions, 3 weeks to go until the start of the Premier League season. All eyes on them and how they'll set about trying to win it again, defend that title. Jay Bothroyd then here to discuss his former club. But you changed your tune a bit on Vinicius Junior, haven't you? People missed this in the past hour. You went from euphoria last week to cool-headed assessment of the numbers and you say it won't work.
Yeah, Teddy, I got gassed. I ain't even going to lie, I got gassed. But, I mean, listen, if it does happen, it will be one of the best signings Arsenal have ever made.
Yeah.
Because he's a fantastic player. He's electric, like I said before. He's a winner. He knows what it's like to play in big moments. But it's not easy to come to the Premier League. So it will still take him time to adjust. But that is a statement signing. And if Arsenal could get that over the line, all the fans are going to go down to the Arsenal shop and get Vinny on the back straight away.
So you make the money back.
I'll be down there getting it for my son for sure. But I think when you look at the financially, it doesn't make sense, and I just don't feel like Arsenal will make that kind of move. Because you've got to pay the transfer fee. There's going to be a big one. And then you've got to pay his salary. Like I said before, you're going to have to pay him the best part of 800,000 a week gross to get him there. And I don't see Arsenal shattering their wage structure to do that. And it's not just for him, it's what comes after him. The likes of Declan Rice, the likes of Saka again when he wants to sign a new deal, the likes of Odegaard if they want him to stay, he's going to want a lot more money. The likes of Saliba, Gabriel, some of the world's best centre-halves. They're going to take him into
through the roof.
Yeah, they're going to take him into the next stratosphere, and then I don't think Arsenal can make that kind of move. Again, there's no doubt about it. I got excited the other day. But there are other players in world football that I would be excited to see at Arsenal as well.
Well, I wonder what Christos Solis makes of all this, because he impressed, didn't he, against Girona yesterday, put up some serious numbers over the past couple of years in Belgium. I just wonder with him, with Martinelli, do Arsenal actually need a left winger? What's your take?
I still think they do need that. I think Solis came in as a replacement for Trossard. I thought Trossard's, he'd done fantastically well at Arsenal. He scored some important goals, and he was part of the squad that got Arsenal, over the line to win the league. But I think Arsenal did need to bring another left winger in. And I still think they will be trying to, obviously Vinny, but then likes of Barcola, I think they, Yildiz, looking at players like that for Juve, again, young
Turkish
player, but,
yeah.
He's a top player. I think there was even links between Arsenal and Yildiz earlier on or toward the back end of last season. But I still think they need to bring someone in on the left-hand side. I actually do want to see a striker there as well. I do want to see a striker there. I think that Arsenal need to get world-class players in. And
so,
I'm not
to start ahead of Gyökeres.
Yeah, I think Gyökeres done well for his first season in terms of numbers, but I think his overall output, it wasn't good enough, not what I expect from him. When you see him play in, the Portuguese league, and it's not as good as the Premier League, don't get me wrong, and there is an adjustment period, but I didn't see enough in his game where I can say Arsenal shouldn't be looking at another striker.
What did you want to see from him?
The kind of player that I would like to see up front for Arsenal is like the Isak mould, the Ikatike mould, where they can come, drop into pockets, link up play, manufacture their own goals in terms of, beating a couple of players and putting one in the top corner. Like, that's the kind of quality that I'm used to seeing in my lifetime. And, Ian Wright could do that. Dennis Bergkamp could do that.
So more than a target man.
Henry can do that. There's lots of players that can do that. I don't see Gyökeres like that. I feel like he's more of someone that, he's going to put himself around. He's going to score goals. He scored important goals last year. There's no doubt about that. But I'm looking at the likes of Alvarez. If Arsenal can get Alvarez, that is a statement signing. He's one of the best forwards in the world. He can play in a number of positions as well. Maybe at some games he could play up front with Gyökeres, but I just think Arsenal need more reinforcements there. I look at Havertz. Again, he's done a great job when he's played up front for Arsenal, but to me, he's more of a number 10. He's more of an attacking midfielder. So Arsenal need options. Arsenal need to improve their squad, the depth. Arsenal are going to be competing obviously for the Premier League, but they need to start going and put in the same kind of performances they played in the Champions League, but they need to go into them games against PSG with a squad where they're saying, we can come and beat you at a game of football. Not, let's see how, let's frustrate PSG. Let's do this and that to these big sides and see where we can get there. I think the best teams in the world actually believe in their depth, their squad, and then they come out there and go and play football against teams. You know, not wait for the game to come to them. That's the kind of signings that I need to see at Arsenal, so then Arsenal can go and do that.
There are a lot of players there, a lot of talented players, aren't there? Another player impressed yesterday was 16-year-old Max Daumann. Good goal. We showed that a few moments ago. Would you start him this season? And if so, where would you start him?
I mean, if Saka's not going to be available for the first game of the season, Daumann's definitely starting for me. I wanted to see him play more last year. There was times when Arsenal were going for a tough time, and that guy there, he's fearless. You know, he wants to get the ball. He's going at you every single time. He's looking to commit you. He's getting shots off. Look at this goal here. You know, he's dipped inside there and he's give the keeper the eyes and whipped it back in the bottom corner. That's great. You know, Max Daumann is 16, but if you look at him, he's playing in a young man's body as well. You know, you can't, you know, he's not lightweight. You can't push him off the ball. He plays with intelligence as well. When Saka is back, he's an option that I would be looking at if we're going to see his assist even. You know, that's from like the middle of the pitch. Like, a number 10 would pick up the ball there. Great weight of the pass. You know, it's perfect. And then obviously a nice finish there as well from Havertz. But I think that Arsenal do need to start utilising him. Because when you look at the players, around the world that have made their debuts, and this is from my era as well. First of all, Rooney. People like Cesc Fabregas, I've got a list there. Mbappe, recently, 16 years old. Jamal, 16 years old. Pedri, 16 years old. Musiala, 17 years old. R9, 16 years old. Messi, 17. I don't understand. For me, if you're good enough, you're old enough. You play them. You get the best out of them. It's not about protecting them. There's so much technology these days in football. You know, you get to, you know, rest, recover. You've got everything you possibly want. You've got chefs. You fly on private jets. You're not going on a 4-hour coach ride from like London to Manchester. You're flying these places. So like for me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying Arsenal need to play this player. He is that good.
Would it
I don't
cause
think
unrest
Arsenal can afford not to play him.
Would it cause unrest if he keeps Saka out of the team, if he keeps Eze out of the team at 10?
Unrest with who?
Whether the players would be frustrated that kids come in and
no one cares about the players if you're winning football matches. You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's playing. If you're getting the 3 points, no one's gonna make up noise. And you know, it will keep people like Saka on their toes because you've got someone breathing down your neck. You've always got to raise your game. You know, and I think that's what Arsenal need. They need more competition because, again, let me just say, as much as we're talking about Saka being number 1 choice, he is number 1 choice. Madueke is number 2 choice. They bought him. In my opinion, I look at Daumann and I say he's better than Madueke already. You know, Madueke is good as a squad player, but he's never going to play first choice for Arsenal, right wing. He might on the left-hand side, but he has to say, you know what, I'm happy to play on that left-hand side. Madueke doesn't seem like the type of player to me that is going to say that. He'll do a job, but he wants to play on the right-hand side.
So he can cut in on his left?
Yeah, so he can cut in on his left and score goals. And I feel like when he plays, to be perfectly honest, he is more comfortable on that right-hand side. But when he did play on the left-hand side, he put some good balls in and he's direct. But I look at Daumann and I say he's got more attributes than Madueke right now. I think he's more refined. He plays with more intelligence than Madueke. And I just feel like Arsenal have to play him. I don't think Arsenal can afford not to. This is, you know, we won the title last year. You need to go and this can't be a situation like Liverpool winning the title and then coming the next season and putting in, you know, substandard performances. You need to play your best players. And if Saka's not going to be available that first game, then Daumann needs to play.
Well, you mentioned that because Arsenal got to contend with the fact, Arteta has to contend with the fact that a number of England players at the World Cup, particularly Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice, who both looked to having injury problems. Saka probably looked a lot fresher than Rice by the end of the World Cup. How do you handle that? When do you bring them back in? You've got City having your Community Shield and then it's Coventry first day of the season.
I don't think Saka plays again in the Community Shield. I think you play him and I think you have to play in the first game of the season. It's a home game. I think you play him, you give him like 60 minutes. Hopefully the game will be wrapped up by then. It should do. And playing Coventry at home. No,
are you confident his Achilles is okay? Because you think it's not the Achilles that was the issue over the World Cup.
I think it's more of his hamstrings. I think it's more of his match sharpness. You know, you can be fit. You can be 100% fit in terms of injuries. But if you don't have that match sharpness, you know, you're never going to be as effective as you was. And when we looked at Saka play when he came in there for England, you know, he put some good performances in and he looked sharp. But I think the reason why he didn't start earlier on in the tournament is because of that sharpness.
Yeah.
But he got it, and then, you know, now I would be looking at that saying, okay, give him a couple of weeks off, but he can start the first game of the season. Declan Rice, I think that's a tough one. Definitely not. He definitely doesn't even train up until the Coventry game.
Because it was a back/hamstring issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was struggling throughout the year. Declan Rice was our most important player last year. He led Arsenal, even through the tough times. I believe that he's going to be Arsenal's captain, next captain. It might even be this season's captain. But he is such a character. He works extremely hard on and off the field. You know, he's telling the manager, you know, I want to play. But I feel like this season, you have to give him his time in particular because he played so many minutes. But then you look at the fixtures that Arsenal have. Those fixtures are not easy. You know, yes, okay, Coventry just got promoted at home as well. You would say that's comfortable.
You can rest maybe.
You would think. But then Aston Villa away, then Chelsea at home, Sunderland away, Brighton away, and then Leeds at home. That's not an easy start to any season. And you know,
could they lose the title in that run?
I don't know about lose the title. It's a long season because we don't know how other teams are going to start.
If you lost a couple of them, maybe.
Teddy, I'm not falling into this trap. I'm not falling into this trap because other teams might go...
I'm not saying you will, I'm just saying
other teams might go and start off not as good as well, so we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But you look at those fixtures there, especially the Aston Villa away, the Chelsea, you know, the Brighton away, those three, even Sunderland away, that is a hard start to a season. And we're going to need Declan Rice in there. We are. And yes, if we get Gimmish over the line, then maybe you could give Declan Rice more time because you'd like to think Zubimendi, he didn't start for Spain. So, you know, even though he was there, he didn't have, it wasn't as grueling as it would have been for Declan Rice, where he was playing every game for England, pretty much.
You mentioned Bruno Guimaraes because we did talk about this a little bit in the previous hour. People who didn't see that, Arsenal, we think in for him. Newcastle are still waiting a formal approach, formal dialogue to start between the clubs. What are your thoughts on him? And just reiterate how